YouTube. I found access to this YouTube channel again, and I'm going to be making more dreadlock content. So in this particular video, the message is on not switching locticians, and ideally, in an ideal situation, you don't need a loctician at all. You don't need anybody maintaining your dreadlocks. You don't need a hairdresser. The ideal is you can do it yourself. That is an ideal. If you can do it yourself, great, fantastic. Only your own energy is touching your hair. Second best, obviously, is just sticking with one person, preferably a kin. Like if it's your wife, your husband, your son, your brother, your mother. It was told to me that your mother is the best person who can touch your hair. She pushed you out. She could bless your head. So understand that it's almost like a ceremony. It's almost a procedure when someone is over your crown. So you are probably sitting down in a chair or sitting on the floor, and somebody is over your crown. They have power over you. And this is a mistake I made with my first set of dreadlocks. I went to so many different people to do my hair, and therefore my hair was manipulated. They use crochet needles. Some people use their hands. And these people have different energies, they have different stories, they have different life paths, and they're all over my crown. Basically doing that is from a spiritual perspective, because I believe all things are spiritual, and when you are spiritual, you know that all things are spiritual first. Everything happens in the spiritual before it happens in the physical. So it is not a good idea to have so many people manipulating your hair. And that's why it's called, when you have traditional dreadlocks, it's called manipulated dreadlocks. And that's why Rasta typically doesn't get any maintenance on his hair, or if he does, it's his wife doing it, or her husband doing it, or he's doing it himself. He's doing some kind of maintenance. Ideally, you don't want to do any maintenance. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and say I have never had anyone touch my crown and been over my crown and performed a service for me, because obviously I have a very unique experience as a Rasta. I've cut my Rasta and I've reattached it. I kind of needed to get help, but in general, like for example, last time I got it maintained, I took her hands and I prayed for her. Like, this is the kind of, your thoughts are so powerful. You don't have to take someone's hands and pray for them, but just said a short prayer. I bless these hands in the name of Jah. Like, sending positive thoughts to people as you walk past on the street is it's a very beneficial spiritual practice for them and for you. And you're going to notice more good things happening to you when you do that. So yeah, back to the topic of the video. You just have to be very, very careful with who you allow to touch your head. And as a young man traveling the world, I've had loads of different female counterparts try to touch my hair. They want to touch it, kind of stuff like that. It's quite frustrating at times because you don't want too much energy on your hair, because the energy pretty much stays there. And this is why I recommend, it's very advantageous. And this is why I always stay on an island or coast. I don't typically like to go to landlocked countries. It's not a thing. I feel trapped. I need to be able to visit the ocean and look out into the ocean wherever need be, whether it's the Caribbean Sea, Atlantic, Indian. I need an ocean. So islands or coasts are typically where a Rasta man will gravitate toward. And I mentioned the ocean because it's a form of cleansing. Like I don't really go to the ocean to swim. I know there's some Rasta man that, they just stay in the sun all day, and I do like to do that, but right now I don't have the time for that. I don't really go to swim. It's just like a spiritual cleansing. You spiritually cleanse yourself when you go into ocean water. And it's interesting because I'll say about 4 months ago, my mum, who's over 60, entered the ocean for the first time in her entire life. And I was like, wow, you've never been cleansed from a spiritual perspective. It's very, very natural. So you got to be very careful who you allow to touch your hair. Don't let passerbys touch your hair. It's polite to ask for permission, but if somebody touches your hair and doesn't ask for permission, it's very, very rude. And I only had that incident happen to me once, and I was saying in a different video, because I'm 6 foot tall, I'm muscular, I don't really get people, trying to chance me or test me in that kind of situation. But I was getting someone attaching my locks, and another Rasta man came and he tried to, I just slapped him instinctively, and he knew who I was from that moment. And like, you don't do that. I said, don't touch my hair. And obviously I was overseas and this is happening. And I'm just remembering another incident. So I had my hair wrapped. 95% of 100% of the time, I'll have at least this top part of my crown covered. Right now I'm in a season where I'm covering everything. I don't want people to, because it's energy going out. I'm keeping everything contained so that when I do eventually bring it out, it's going to be a lot more strong and a lot more vibrant in terms of the energy. So yeah, I was walking, I believe I was in Gambia, West Africa, and I was hanging with some people I shouldn't have been hanging with. I was walking with him, like pills and shit. And one time he just took it off my head, like, I'm a Rasta man. And he took this off my head, like, oh my goodness, I was this close to just knocking him out. But he was like, yeah, I did that so I could see who you truly are, something like that, trying to be like sad. But yeah, he was a drug addict. He was a drug addict, man. So I let it slide. But yeah, typically you don't want people touching your hair. And when it comes to locticians, do not switch locticians. Find one loctician, because this is an example, especially when I used to get a lot of maintenance on my locks. So was getting maintenance on my locks, and then the girl that was my loctician, I suppose, she said, and the thing is, when we meet our loctician, we don't know what frame of mind they're in. Yeah, we can read them for the most part if you're good at reading people and things like that, but we don't know what they're going through. We don't know what they're struggling with. We don't know what their home life is like. We don't know their base level of energy. We just see them for a couple of hours every 3 to 6 months or whatever your frequency is. You don't actually know that person. You have a good conversation, laugh back and forth. You don't know the sins that they've committed. So that's why I say it's best to stick to kin, and it's best to pray for that person's hands and pray for that. And ideally, just choose very wisely who you're allowing to touch your crown. Because yeah, so I had this incident. I was overseas. I went to see my lady, my lock lady, and yeah, her mother just died. So she was like, "Oh, I'm not taking appointments." And then like 2 weeks later, she was like taking appointments, and I was like, "You have grieving energy on you. I don't want that grieving energy on my crown. I don't want that." And that's the thing, you don't know what kind of energy people have. And I've got my hair maintained at beaches and things like that in the past from people who I don't know what kind of spiritual wisdom they had. But one thing I know about the color black is one of the lowest vibrational colors spiritually. I've seen a witch a few times in my life, but the witch, the most stereotypical witch that I saw, was dressed in all black and her eyes obscured, because if I was able to see her eyes, I'd be able to know exactly what she was. And she was dressed in all black. And so, yeah, just allowing random people, like, because they call it mobile opticians, they walk around on the beach, look for people with dreadlocks. Hey, I can blah, blah, blah. You don't know them. Don't allow, like, ideally you want a recommendation. Ideally, you want to respectfully judge that person. Do they look clean? Do they take care of themselves? Are they married? Does my faith, do we have similar faiths? Do we have similar spiritual belief systems? Like, whatever it is, you don't want to allow just anyone. So, but if you cannot avoid it, I would say, because my first set of locks, I easily had over 100 hands in them, easily. And when I got to Africa for the first time and I was living alone and I was a bit naive, I still remember a time where I went to a salon and I was like, yeah, I want to get it maintained. And it was still in its growing stages. And about 3 men were like having a look in it, like, there's so much power here. And this is one of the reasons you got to keep it wrapped up, man. So, and it contains ego as well. Like, if I have it hanging down, I ain't gonna lie, I look like... It's crazy. So it's just good to keep it wrapped up, man. Anyways, I hope you learned something about the lock journey. I hope you learned something. Don't allow just anyone to touch your hair. If you can have a loctician, let it be your sister. Let it be someone you know, someone that you... Because anyone could... Yeah, I want to get back on this. Anyone can fake their energy. Like, you need to observe someone for a period of time to know what their base energy levels are. Anyone can fake high energy, fake positive energy, fake holy energy, fake pure energy for a period of time. But what are they like over time? You don't see your loctician every day. Social media is fake. All of it is a lie. Like, the thing is about me, I'm the same every single day. I'm that solid. So if I was a loctician, I'd be charging very high prices.